Block 3, lesson 12, what we're doing here is we're taking a really long, hard look at shoulder position as it relates to a passer's positioning. There's a very distinct orientation that the shoulder, distinct relationship that the shoulder on the guard player maintains with the chest level of the passer. So what we're talking about here from a seated guard position still, now bear in mind, we still haven't even broke back into our main phase of our guard. We're still sitting. They still have not pressured us enough to the point where they even get past the first phase of our guard. So we have to maintain a proper shoulder relationship. Now what we see a lot of times is opponents start to change their level. The good thing about playing seated guard is that I'm below their eye level, which gives me always access to their knee line. If I have access to their knee line, I can wrestle up on them at any given time. Now, many times wrestlers figure this out. They realize this is a big problem, and they're very apprehensive to commit at anything above my eye level. So what you start to see is they start to really drop their level and play down here face to face. They want to maintain their mobility so they stay on their feet, or better yet, they drop all the way down to both knees and start becoming a pure-on knee passer, okay? And this becomes a little bit more problematic. We'll get into that in the butterfly aspect of it. But for now, what we're talking about is how do we maintain safety from a speed passer that still has mobility, but his eye level is right at mine or he's below it. The answer becomes this front shoulder, and it's what I do with that, what we call the Mayweather technique. What we're doing is we're going to hide our shoulder and make sure that our shoulder stays below the apex of their shoulder. Because what she's going to want to do here is as she comes in, if she's able to commit below my shoulder line, she can start to really drive up underneath me and flatten me out, and this becomes a big issue. If she's coming around this direction and I open the upper part of my body, as she pins a leg and comes through, I've now gotten this shoulder high. This shoulder is now above her body line, and she can start to flatten me out. Now, the big mistake I made before was I didn't dive the shoulder in underneath her. So essentially what I want to do is I want to close this entire line off to her. I want to make this inaccessible. And by doing that, what I'm going to do is as she comes across, I'm simply going to dive my shoulder down underneath her so that now I've closed all this off. If she decides she wants to continue to wrap around this side here, she's going to have a really hard time preventing me from extracting the foot and coming to my technical stand-up. So the way we work this is our opponent is going to come in and they're going to pin this knee. When they pin this knee, they're going to start to drive heavily up underneath me, and they're going to circle around me, and I'm just going to drop my shoulder as she comes around this way. Yep. As she comes around this way, I'm dropping my shoulder up underneath her, and she's bearing her weight, trying to pin me and flatten me out. This is not going to happen, and I'm just going to extract my foot. So again, I'm diving the shoulder across. Now sometimes I may even find myself diving my shoulder all the way to here so that I can build up and I can actually get my Mayweather technique out of that. So the way this would work, depending on how low she takes this, I'm going to just meet her, pushing her away, and I'm diving my shoulder up underneath. As she presses through, I'm coming underneath. My shoulder just continues to go lower than hers at any given time. Now I'm just building up, building up, building up, and I'm out. So what we're doing is we're diving the shoulder. The way this works for a drill, we'll start, we'll go to this tilted butterfly position. We're gonna dive the shoulder all the way over to where the head hits the mat, build up to the knee, and then we're gonna stand back up. So again here, I'm gonna tilt all the way over, head's gonna come to the mat, shoulder's gonna hide, foot's gonna come up, build up to the hand, and I can push off. So it's a perfect guard retention. So live, as she pins the knee and comes through, I tilt over. Now I've just hidden my shoulder from her. Can she jump to the back? Possibly. If she does jump to the back, I'm still able to go ahead and pin up and build up and come out the backside. So the main thing we're learning here is to duck this shoulder down. You'll see this come into some of the lessons later on in half guard, where we're essentially just closing our upper body off from her to where I can dive my shoulder to the mat.